Alrighty, action. What's he doing here? What in the heck is this? Well, I've got a little celebration. Get down here. That's the Thermarest pump sack. They kind of leak around the seams. And this is the Hammock Gear top cover, cloak or bottom quilt cover in this harvester camo. It's cloaking the Big Agnes sleep system, the synthetic Sunbeam. My knees are on just a tarp to the Rainfly to an old tent I found in the woods. I've been just kind of seeing what I need. I do this every now and then, mainly in the hammock, but anymore I get the ground kind of helps my back sometimes. I like to be ready for the ground, and having this cover was pretty nice. The other night when I stayed in the Vortex Bivy, that's a fairly common bivy you find, it was pretty wet inside the bivy, and I noticed none of the bivy was wet, and I had this tarp on the ground. So my theory was like, well, maybe the tarp on the ground does a lot more from blocking that condensation, and just to have something light on top to both cloak me, make me stealth camper, and shed the light dew and moisture might be nice as well. So I kind of bought this Hammock Gear, Hammock Gear's had some great service to me. I thought maybe it'll give them an idea, but I just have it tucked underneath the item because I just mainly be using it for when I sleep. My own weight would be keeping it on it, obviously. It's just a handful of a product, not much. It's fairly breathable. The idea would be just to keep the frost and moisture off the bag, because with the down, I had this Daisy May, the down counterpart. I found it really worked well for its temperature rating of 0 Fahrenheit, but it really started smelling like down, duck down. So my celebration is we're gonna clip this baby free. REI, $118, worthwhile investment. These make a great sleep system for both on the ground and in the hammock. I've got the Thermarest Neo Air X-Tgerm in here, which when you're pumping up the valve, it kind of slips around, gets a little quirky sometimes, and blows air out the seams of the bag. The other companies seem to have a little bit better. Maybe this is softer as a pillow or something. I don't know why the other companies have a little better nylon bag, but other than that, this is a very reliable pad, and it's in the medium wide version. I've been kind of testing it versus this is a 25-inch wide versus the 20-inch wide Nemo First Light longbow, and I'm a fairly wide guy, I'll take the luxury on the ground. Plus it has a higher R value and it weighs the same. That said, it's a little bit of a chore to get into these sleep systems. Now, one of my theories of why this Big Agnes Daisy May women's is on closeout and cheaper, I almost wonder if they didn't design it for the 66-inch woman's pad, because that goes in like a charm. But you can wrestle these in. Just after all the years of running these pad sleeve systems, you'd think they'd give you another inch, make it a little easier, but they don't. It's not bad though. It might be better than the whole big long sleeve that you have to pull it through. Moving on, it's a very reliable. It's been proving itself well. This sleeping bag was inside that bivy. The head area was all wet where I was breathing. A lot of it was wet to the touch. And it's not that I think the down would have the problems. I realize it has a water repellency. The shell fabrics are good. It's more the peace of mind. I'd rather carry that extra 1 pound of weight and not worry that my sleeping bag's going flat. So there it is there at that. Some of the down, like the 850 Goose down with the Vortex and the REI Magma, I feel it's a lot more rare that I smell the down and feel like the inside of the bag is starting to wet out. So And I spoke to Big Agnes. They were pretty good about it. They answer the phone and stuff. Big Agnes is good about answering the phone or calling you back. It's a good company, in my opinion. I did finally get Taylor to... I somehow filled out a claim sheet I was directed to rather than the return, so I had a couple complications with the return of the Daisy May. But if you bought this, say, from REI, like this one, it's just hassle-free. I'm talking too much. Anyway, hope to see that when staying in something like this, there's not as much moisture on the sleeping bag. Like, it breathes a little better. And I'm just showing some ideas, because you can kind of have some, like, I wish I could get something camo or olive with the orange or something like this, but I can't judge it by the system. It's a really good system, and you know what I mean? You might not be able to buy anywhere else something that just links to the pad, and it's like toss it on the ground, toss it in the hammock, blow it up on somebody's floor type of item. So cool. The male counterpart's the Lost Dog. It'll zip to this. Out there somewhere, a few others like the Lost Ranger and the Park series. Some of them have the bigger, longer sleeve, which isn't too bad either if you know the trick. Sorry about being kind of in Granny and Pappy's backyard, but we live in bluff country. We're kind of like hill dwellers, and there's hardly anywhere to set up on the ground. I was further up in the backwoods, and everywhere I looked above me, there was like a tree snag or a tree about to fall on me, and I was like, okay, we'll just get this set up and play around. I've got over here a Wilderness Innovations Poncho tarp. Perry from Wilderness Innovations seems like a good guy on the phone. I did have him kind of talk me out of the original one I bought and talk me into this ultralight. Then that started breaking in hammock mode. It's a hammock poncho and multi-use shelter. And then I sent it back with a note saying, hey, let me know what's up. I can still use it as a poncho. He threw it away. But he's a nice guy. I still don't know where my $137 went. But I'm saying you can get a multi-use tarp. A tarp here. And use it over this, like that's kind of gathered into hammock mode right now, and you could throw it over there like a hammock too, like an oversheet. I just don't think this, besides maybe keeping the burrs and thorns off your sleeping bag, I don't know that this Vortex Bivy, an emergency shelter in the desert in the middle of a sandstorm, a Humvee Antarctica type thing maybe, but throw all your gear in it and keep it dry type of thing. I don't know.